In the heart of the sun-baked land, where the earth cracked under the weight of the scorching sun, lay the village of Oko. For months, the sky had withheld its tears, leaving the crops withered and the people desperate. The once vibrant laughter of children echoed only faintly, drowned by the constant worry etched on every face. Lisabi, a young man of 20, stood at the edge of the village square, his heart heavy with the burden of his people's plight. He was not the greatest hunter yet. He had watched the best of the best go forth to hunt the fabled bush baby, a creature whispered about in tales of old, whose tears were said to bring rain. But despite their skills, they returned empty-handed, their spirits broken under the weight of failure. "Lisabi, you should not even think about it," sneered Oho, the village's most arrogant hunter, who had failed to capture the bush baby twice. "You are just a boy, and you are only wasting your time." Ignoring the laughter of the crowd, Lisabi squared his shoulders. "I may not be the greatest hunter, but I have a heart full of hope. I will find the bush baby. I will make it rain." The village priest, a wise old man named Baba Oyo, watched with interest. "Lisabi, the path ahead is fraught with challenges. It is not just skill that you need. It is also belief in yourself and the strength to face your fears." With those words, Lisabi felt a spark ignite within him. He gathered what he needed: a simple bow made from sturdy wood, a quiver of arrows, and a small pouch for the bush baby's tears. With determination set in his heart, he turned to his mother, who stood watching with worry etched across her face. "Mother, I will bring back the tears of the bush baby and save our village," he assured her. "I believe I can do it." As dawn broke the following morning, Lisabi set out from the village, his heart pounding with both excitement and fear. The sun rose like a fiery ball, casting golden rays across the landscape, illuminating the dry earth. Each step he took felt heavy with the weight of his village's hopes resting on his shoulders. The elders of the village had gathered the previous night to discuss the drought. Their voices echoed in his mind, filled with despair and anger. "We need rain. We must find the bush baby," they had shouted, their faces lined with worry. Lisabi had listened closely, and though they had laughed at his dreams, he knew he had to try. As he walked through the tall grass that swayed gently in the breeze, Lisabi thought about the other hunters, their tales of bravery, their boastful laughter echoing in the air. Yet none had returned with the tears of the bush baby. "Why should I be any different?" he muttered to himself, doubt creeping into his mind. But then he remembered the villagers, their parched faces in the empty granaries. Suddenly, a sharp cry broke through his thoughts. Lisabi stopped, peering into the underbrush. He caught sight of a small creature, an antelope, dashing through the trees. It was then that he felt the call of the wild. He crouched low, remembering everything he had learned from the older hunters. Quietly, he pulled his bowstring taut, aiming carefully. The antelope stopped to graze, unaware of Lisabi's presence. But just as he was about to release the arrow, he hesitated. "No," he whispered to himself. "I am not here to hunt for sport. I seek something greater." He lowered his bow, letting the antelope bound away into the distance. With a renewed sense of purpose, Lisabi continued on his journey, navigating the dense forest and scaling rocky hills. Hours passed, and he finally reached a clearing, the sun hanging high in the sky. Here, he could see far and wide, a breathtaking view of the land he called home. Yet all he saw were the signs of drought, the withered trees, the cracked earth, and the endless blue sky mocking him. At that moment, he vowed to prove everyone wrong. "I will not return empty-handed," he declared aloud, letting the echo of his words bolster his courage. "I will find the bush baby and make it rain." As he pressed deeper into the wilderness, Lisabi stumbled upon a group of fellow villagers who had also ventured into the forest, their faces weary and drawn. They were seasoned hunters, their bows and arrows a testament to their experience. "What are you doing here, boy?" one of them asked, his voice dripping with skepticism. "I am searching for the bush baby," Lisabi replied boldly, standing tall despite their doubt. "Ha, you? You'll only get lost." Another hunter laughed. "You're better off at home with the women." Lisabi clenched his fists, feeling anger rise within him. "I will succeed where you have failed. Watch me." With that, he turned his back on them, refusing to let their mockery deter him. The path ahead was uncertain, but Lisabi was determined. He walked on, guided only by the whispers of the trees and the hope in his heart. Lisabi camped for the night in a small clearing, the sounds of the forest enveloping him. The chirping of crickets and the rustle of leaves provided a symphony of nature that soothed his weary spirit. He lit a small fire and sat down to reflect on his journey so far. The embers glowed bright, casting flickering shadows on the trees. As he prepared a simple meal of dried fruits and nuts, he thought of his village, his mother, his friends, and the elders who had once doubted him. Their faces haunted him, but with each bite, he felt his resolve strengthen. As the stars twinkled above, he remembered Baba Oyo's words. The priest had once told him, "Belief in oneself is the first step to success. Listen to the whispers of your heart, for they will guide you." Lisabi closed his eyes and focused on that belief, letting it wash over him like the cool night breeze. The following morning, he woke early, the dawn breaking with a promise of adventure. He prepared himself for the day ahead, checking his supplies and ensuring his bow was in good condition. He knew he needed to be alert and ready for whatever lay ahead. With the sun rising behind him, Lisabi set off again, this time with a clearer sense of purpose. He moved through the forest, careful to watch for signs of the bush baby. He recalled the tales of the creature, its silvery fur that shone like the moonlight, its eyes bright and mischievous. After several hours of searching, Lisabi came upon a clearing filled with vibrant flowers and lush vegetation. It was a stark contrast to the barren land of his village. He knelt down, running his fingers through the soil, and breathed in the sweet scent of blooming flora. "This is where the bush baby must live," he murmured to himself, feeling a connection to the land around him. Suddenly, a soft rustling noise caught his attention. He turned sharply, eyes scanning the area. From behind a cluster of bushes, he spotted a flash of white. A quick movement that vanished before he could fully see it. His heart raced as he remembered the tales of the bush baby being elusive and clever. "Stay calm, Lisabi," he whispered, taking a deep breath. "You can do this." He decided to set a trap, carefully arranging a small area with berries, hoping to lure the creature out. As he worked, he felt a growing excitement. Perhaps today would be the day he would finally see the bush baby. With the trap set, Lisabi sat quietly, his heart pounding in anticipation. Hours passed, and just when he was beginning to doubt himself, a rustle in the bushes caught his attention. Slowly, he turned his head, eyes widening as he caught sight of the bush baby. The creature was small, its fur a dazzling mix of white and silver, shimmering in the dappled sunlight. Its eyes were large and curious, sparkling with mischief as it approached the trap. Lisabi held his breath, heart racing with hope and excitement. The bush baby sniffed the air, its delicate nose twitching. It hopped closer to the trap, its movements graceful and agile. Lisabi's fingers itched to reach for his bow, but he remained still, knowing that patience was key. As the bush baby nibbled on the berries, Lisabi couldn't help but smile. This is it, he thought. I'm so close. But just as he prepared to make his move, a sudden noise erupted from the forest. A loud crack followed by the roar of a wild animal. The bush baby's ears perked up, and it bolted away, disappearing into the dense foliage. "No!" Lisabi exclaimed, frustration bubbling within him. He quickly rose to his feet, ready to pursue. The sound had come from the left, and without a second thought, he dashed through the underbrush, following the noise. As he ran, he could hear the sounds of a struggle, a deep growl and the screech of another creature. Lisabi's heart raced with fear as he navigated through the tangled trees, adrenaline coursing through his veins. He burst into a small clearing and froze. Before him stood a massive leopard, its powerful body poised over a smaller creature, a young antelope caught in its grasp. The leopard's gaze shifted, locking onto Lisabi. For a moment, the two stared at each other, and Lisabi felt a mix of fear and awe at the beauty of the creature. But the antelope's desperate bleating snapped him out of his trance. Lisabi knew he had to act quickly. He reached for his bow, heart pounding as he prepared to intervene. The odds were against him, but he couldn't stand by and let another creature perish. With a deep breath, he aimed for the leopard. "Get away from it," he shouted, releasing the arrow. It flew through the air, striking the ground near the leopard's paw, startling the predator. The leopard hissed, turning its attention to Lisabi. In that moment of distraction, the antelope broke free, dashing away into the safety of the trees. Lisabi felt a rush of triumph, but his victory was short-lived. The leopard, furious at being thwarted, turned its full attention to him, growling deep. Lisabi's heart raced as he backed away, realizing he was now the target. He was quick on his feet, dodging to the side as the leopard lunged at him. The forest was alive with sounds. The rustle of leaves, the pounding of his heart, and the growl of the leopard echoing in his ears. "Stay focused, Lisabi," he urged himself, recalling the hunting techniques he had learned. He needed to outsmart the creature. He quickly scanned his surroundings, looking for an escape route. Finding a sturdy tree nearby, he dashed towards it, climbing with all his strength. The leopard followed, leaping after him, but Lisabi managed to scramble up to a branch just in time. He perched himself high above the ground, breathing heavily as he watched the leopard pace below, its eyes fixed on him. Think, he muttered, trying to calm his racing heart. The leopard circled the tree, frustrated but unable to reach him. He had bought himself some time, but he needed to formulate a plan. After a few moments, he noticed the leopard becoming restless, losing interest. "This is my chance," Lisabi thought. He climbed higher, finally reaching a sturdy branch that extended out over the clearing. As the leopard began to lose patience, Lisabi took a deep breath. "Now," he whispered, leaping off the branch and landing on the ground a safe distance away. The leopard turned just in time to see him, but Lisabi was already running, his legs pumping as he fled through the forest. He didn't stop until he reached a small stream, panting and gasping for breath. The water sparkled in the sunlight, a refreshing sight after his harrowing encounter. He knelt to drink, grateful for the life-giving liquid. As he splashed his face, Lisabi reflected on the dangers he had faced. "I have to be more careful," he thought. "But I can't give up. I'm getting closer to finding the bush baby." With renewed determination, Lisabi continued his search for the bush baby. The sun hung high in the sky, and the heat beat down on him relentlessly. He knew he needed to keep moving, but the exhaustion was starting to set in. "Focus, Lisabi," he whispered to himself. "You are here for a reason." As he walked, he began to notice the signs of life around him, the chirping of birds, the rustle of small animals in the bushes. Perhaps the bush baby was closer than he thought. He listened carefully, hoping to catch any sound that might lead him to the elusive creature. After several more hours of searching, Lisabi stumbled upon another clearing. This one was different. It was vibrant, filled with colorful flowers and lush greenery. The air was thick with the scent of blossoms, and he felt a sense of peace wash over him. In the center of the clearing stood a large, ancient tree, its trunk gnarled and twisted. As he approached, he noticed a small hole at the base of the tree, just big enough for a creature to squeeze through. Hope surged within him. Could this be a home for the bush baby? Kneeling down, Lisabi peered into the hole, but it was dark inside. He called softly, "Bush baby? Are you there?" His voice was barely above a whisper, but he felt foolish for even speaking. Just as he was about to pull back, he heard a soft rustling sound. His heart raced as he saw a flash of silver fur darting past him. "There you are," he exclaimed, excitement bubbling within him. The bush baby was quick and agile, weaving in and out of the underbrush. Lisabi chased after it, heart pounding with adrenaline. This time, he wouldn't let it escape. He followed the creature deeper into the forest, dodging branches and leaping over roots. Suddenly, the bush baby stopped and turned to face him, its large, curious eyes watching him intently. Lisabi slowed down, crouching to appear less threatening. He reached into his pouch and pulled out some berries he had collected earlier. "Look, I mean no harm," he said gently, offering the berries. "I just want to help." The bush baby tilted its head, its nose twitching as it sniffed the air. Slowly, it approached, curiosity overcoming its fear. Lisabi held his breath, hoping that this time he could earn the creature's trust. As the bush baby nibbled on the berries, Lisabi felt a wave of joy wash over him. "I did it," he thought. "I'm getting closer." But just as he was about to reach out, a loud noise echoed through the forest. Branches snapping, leaves rustling. Lisabi's heart dropped as he realized they weren't alone. "We have to hide," he whispered, grabbing the bush baby and darting behind the ancient tree. They crouched together, holding their breath as the sounds grew closer. A group of hunters emerged, their faces grim and determined. Lisabi recognized some of them from the village, and he felt a surge of panic. They were looking for the same prize. "Spread out," one of them commanded. "The bush baby can't have gone far." Lisabi's mind raced. He couldn't let them catch the bush baby. He had to protect it. He glanced at the creature beside him, its large eyes wide with fear. "Stay quiet," he whispered, trying to reassure it. The hunters continued to search, their footsteps drawing nearer. Lisabi's heart raced as he contemplated his next move. He had to distract them. "Okay, Lisabi," he whispered to himself. "It's now or never." He took a deep breath and stepped out from behind the tree, drawing the attention of the hunters. "Hey, over here!" he shouted, waving his arms to attract their gaze. The hunters turned, eyes widening in surprise. "Lisabi, what are you doing here?" one of them shouted. Confusion etched on his face. "I'm hunting too. I saw the bush baby go this way." Lisabi lied, hoping to buy time. "It ran off in that direction." The hunters exchanged glances, hesitation evident on their faces. "You think you can catch it?" one of them asked skeptically. "I can help," Lisabi said, desperate to convince them. "We can work together." The hunters reluctantly agreed, and as they turned to follow him, Lisabi felt a rush of relief. "Thank you, nature," he whispered under his breath, grateful for the distraction. They moved through the forest, and Lisabi kept the bush baby close, whispering reassurances as they walked. He knew he had to be careful. If the hunters discovered the creature, it would be in danger. Hours passed as they scoured the forest, but they found nothing. The sun began to set, casting long shadows across the ground. Frustration grew among the hunters, and Lisabi felt a pang of guilt for leading them on a wild goose chase. Finally, one of the hunters spoke up. "This is pointless. Let's head back to the village." As they turned to leave, Lisabi breathed a sigh of relief. He had managed to protect the bush baby, at least for now. He waited until they were out of sight before leading the creature back to the clearing. "I'm sorry you had to go through that," he whispered, kneeling down to the bush baby. "I won't let anyone hurt you. We'll find a way to get you back to safety." The bush baby looked up at him, its large eyes filled with trust. In that moment, Lisabi felt a connection that transcended words. They were bound by a shared purpose, and he knew he would do whatever it took to protect this creature. Over the next few days, Lisabi spent time with the bush baby, building a bond of trust. He learned its habits and behaviors, observing how it foraged for food and interacted with the forest around it. The bush baby was not just a creature to be captured, it was a living being with its own emotions and needs. Lisabi often sat quietly, watching the bush baby play among the flowers, its laughter echoing in the air like a sweet melody. He realized that he was not only on a quest for rain, but also on a journey of understanding. The bush baby taught him to appreciate the beauty of nature and the importance of living in harmony with the world around him. One afternoon, as they rested beneath the ancient tree, Lisabi felt a wave of emotion wash over him. He thought of his father and the injustice they had faced in the village. "If I can find a way to help you, maybe I can also help my family," he said softly, his heart heavy with determination. The bush baby tilted its head, as if understanding his words. Lisabi smiled, feeling a sense of camaraderie between them. "Together, we can bring back the rain and prove everyone wrong." As the days turned into weeks, Lisabi and the bush baby formed an unbreakable bond. They shared laughter and tears, exploring the wonders of the forest together. Lisabi discovered that the bush baby had a playful spirit, often engaging in antics that made him laugh out loud. He had never felt so alive, and he cherished every moment spent with his new friend. But as their connection deepened, Lisabi couldn't shake the feeling that time was running out. The drought was taking a toll on the village, and whispers of desperation echoed in the air. He had to act quickly. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Lisabi sat with the bush baby in their clearing. The stars began to twinkle overhead, and he felt a sense of urgency in his heart. "Tomorrow, we will search for the tears," he declared, determination burning in his chest. "We must find a way to bring rain back to your village." The bush baby unfortunately tried to shed tears, but the bush baby already gave his tears to save a hunter live in the past, so it's impossible to shed another one, as you can only shed tears once in a lifetime as a bush baby. But the bush baby promised to take Lisabi to the part of the forest where other bush baby resides. The bush baby looked up at him, its eyes shining with encouragement. Lisabi knew they were ready for the challenge ahead. The next morning, Lisabi and the bush baby set off on their quest to find the elusive tears of the bush baby, believing that they held the key to restoring life to the parched land. They navigated through the dense forest, the sun filtering through the leaves, casting a warm glow on their path. "Do you feel that?" Lisabi asked, glancing at the bush baby. "It's like the forest is alive with hope." The bush baby chirped in agreement, its small body bouncing with excitement. They continued their journey, weaving through towering trees and vibrant flora. The scent of earth and foliage filled the air, invigorating their spirits as they moved deeper into the wilderness. After several hours of walking, they came across a tranquil pond nestled in a grove of trees. The water sparkled under the sunlight, creating a breathtaking sight. Lisabi knelt at the edge, gazing into the clear depths. "This is beautiful," he whispered, momentarily forgetting their quest. The bush baby hopped beside him, peering into the water with curiosity. Lisabi chuckled, reaching out to splash a few droplets at his friend. The bush baby squealed in delight, and they shared a moment of pure joy, laughing together as they played. But Lisabi quickly recalled their mission. "We need to focus," he said, shaking off the distraction. "We must find the bush baby tears." As they explored the area around the pond, Lisabi noticed a small flower growing near the water's edge. It had vibrant petals that shimmered in the light, unlike anything he had ever seen. "Look at that!" he exclaimed, pointing to the flower. The bush baby sniffed the air, its large eyes widening in awe. Lisabi carefully plucked the flower and examined it closely. "Maybe this can help us. It's said that certain flowers have the power to attract creatures." With newfound hope, they decided to try the flower as bait. Lisabi placed it near the pond, and they waited, hiding behind a nearby tree. The sun began to set, casting a golden hue over the landscape. Suddenly, they heard a rustling sound, and Lisabi's heart raced. A shadow approached the pond. A small, timid bush baby emerged from the underbrush, drawn by the enchanting flower. Lisabi held his breath, heart pounding in his chest. "This is it," he thought. "We can do this." As the new bush baby approached the flower, Lisabi felt a surge of excitement. The creature sniffed the petals, and Lisabi quietly motioned for the bush baby by his side to stay calm. With delicate movements, Lisabi reached for a small net he had fashioned from vines. He waited for the right moment, heart racing. Just as the new bush baby leaned in closer, he sprang into action, gently capturing it in the net. The bush baby squealed in surprise, but Lisabi quickly reassured it. "Don't worry, I'm not going to hurt you. I just need your tears to help my village." The new bush baby squirmed in the net, but Lisabi held it carefully. "Please, just a few tears. It's important," he pleaded, feeling a sense of desperation. To his amazement, the new bush baby paused, looking up at him with understanding. It seemed to sense his genuine intentions. Slowly, tears began to well up in its eyes, glistening in the fading light. Lisabi's heart soared. "Thank you," he whispered, awed by the moment. The tears fell into a small bowl he had prepared, and he felt a sense of triumph. They had succeeded. The original bush baby hopped excitedly beside him, its energy infectious. "We did it!" Lisabi exclaimed, unable to contain his joy. "Now we can bring rain back to our village." With the tears safely collected, Lisabi and the bush baby set off for home, hearts filled with hope and excitement. The sun dipped low in the sky, casting long shadows as they made their way through the forest. As they traveled, Lisabi couldn't help but reflect on the incredible journey they had shared. "We've come so far," he said, glancing at the bush baby. "I couldn't have done this without you." The bush baby chirped happily, its eyes sparkling with energy. They moved quickly, eager to return to the village and share their discovery. When they finally emerged from the forest, the sight of the village brought a wave of emotion over Lisabi. The dry, cracked earth stretched out before him, a stark reminder of the drought's devastation. But now, he had hope. "Look!" Lisabi shouted, pointing to the villagers gathered in the central square. "They'll see that we found the tears." As they approached, Lisabi's heart raced with anticipation. The villagers turned their heads, eyes widening in disbelief at the sight of Lisabi with the bush baby. "Lisabi," one of the elders called out, stepping forward. "You've returned." "I did it! I found the tears of the bush baby." Lisabi exclaimed, holding up the bowl. "With this, we can bring back the rain." Murmurs of surprise and excitement rippled through the crowd. The villagers gathered closer. Curiosity etched on their faces, but there were also looks of skepticism, remnants of the doubts that had plagued Lisabi's journey. "What makes you think those tears will work?" another villager questioned, crossing his arms. Lisabi felt a pang of frustration but refused to back down. "I believe they will. The bush baby showed me the way. We must try." As the crowd hesitated, the bush baby beside him took a bold step forward. It chirped loudly, its voice echoing through the square. The villagers fell silent, taken aback by the creature's presence. Lisabi seized the moment. "See? The bush baby believes in this too. We can't let fear hold us back any longer." A few villagers exchanged glances, and slowly the elder stepped forward. "If we are to believe you, we must witness the miracle ourselves," he said, his voice steady. With newfound determination, Lisabi led the villagers to the central well in the village. He carefully poured the bush baby's tears into the water, watching as the liquid mingled with the remaining water. "Now we wait," he said, heart pounding with anticipation. The villagers gathered around, eyes fixed on the well. The atmosphere was thick with tension, hope intermingled with doubt. As the minutes passed, nothing happened. Lisabi's heart sank, and he felt a wave of disappointment wash over him. "Maybe I was wrong," he thought, panic creeping into his mind. But just as despair began to take hold, dark clouds rolled in overhead, obscuring the sun. Gasps of surprise echoed through the crowd, and Lisabi's heart leapt with renewed hope. "I told you," he shouted, a grin spreading across his face. "Look!" The clouds swirled, and then, with a rumble of thunder, rain began to pour. The villagers erupted into cheers, faces lit up with joy and disbelief. Lisabi laughed, tears of happiness streaming down his cheeks as he danced in the rain. "Thank you, bush baby," he shouted, raising his arms to the sky. The bush baby hopped beside him, chirping excitedly, reveling in the celebration. As the rain soaked the ground, Lisabi felt a weight lift from his heart. The village was alive with laughter and joy, the sound of hope echoing through the air. They had overcome the darkness together, and he knew that his journey had only just begun. With the rain falling steadily, Lisabi watched as the villagers embraced the newfound life in the land. The air was filled with laughter, joy, and gratitude as everyone rejoiced.